that we are through security and we are in the airport. Not very many options. Food court's still closed. It is 7:55 on a Monday, and a lot of these stores are closed or boarded up. Looks like Starbucks is open. But yeah, true. So we're gonna see what kind of options we have. It was a hectic morning getting all the luggage and people into the car, but we got it done. We're all checked in. About an hour till our flight takes off to San Diego. Love this outdoor walkway. It's so crazy. So beautiful. Had a great time. Airport's confusing because they're doing a lot of construction, like every airport it seems. They mentioned that you needed to get gas within 5 miles of the airport and present a receipt. So we found a gas station and it put us just on the other side of the rental car return. So we had to like take a full lap around the airport to be able to get back to right where we were. But all good at the airport, easy check-in. We had to put our bags through the agricultural check. Haven't had to do that in a long time. But loaded everything up. Everything was underweight, so just barely, but underweight. And then we'll figure out what we're gonna do when we get home. Luckily, we have friends with us still, and we're gonna throw a kid and a couple bags in that car, and we'll just pick it up from their house later. It's gonna be a long travel day. Not sure how much video we're gonna do today, but maybe a little bit, maybe a couple highlights, and we'll just close up this trip. Such an amazing time. Yeah, we're heading to E-Gate. About a half an hour till our flight loads. Yay! All right, outside in the E terminal, there's some more options, but this Starbucks is closed. A couple stores open. An eye store. Oh, it's a vending machine. And that's our friend Jessica. How are you?
Did you leave everybody behind?
They're all. All right, so one difference here, they don't have the A signs. So they're just kind of saying line up against the wall and figure it out. And then also we're boarding 40 minutes before our flight versus the typical 30. They just say there's about 15 open seats on this plane, but we've got all of our groups set up, so we should be covered. Yeah, 40 minutes early. Restrooms, no food, so it's gonna be a long day where we get to San Diego at about 5 p.m. Try to find some food real quick and then get ready for our next flight. We only have an hour between flights on that one, so hopefully everything works out. We'll see.
of this flight for Southwest Airlines, we would like to welcome you to San Diego. Please remain seated, keep those seatbelts fastened until the aircraft has arrived at the gate and the fasten seatbelt sign has been turned off. Use caution opening overhead bins. Items tend to shift around during the flight and could fall out. If you have any more connecting flights here in San Diego, be sure that you check the TV monitors in the terminal for your flight and gate number. It's been a pleasure serving you. Thank you so much for your business here at Southwest Airlines. We hope to see you again on a future Southwest flight.
Just a couple pictures from the flight back. It was an uneventful flight into San Diego. Nice, easy flight. I think I slept most of the flight, being so tired from the trip. So it was a good flight. No issues, nothing to complain about. Then we got to San Diego. Once we landed in San Diego, we saw that there was a lot of people sitting around the airport. Flights were delayed. We were delayed almost 2 hours getting back into Denver because there was a tornado touchdown out by the airport. So we had a fun trip back into Colorado. With that, we close out our Hawaiian vacation. We're going to go ahead and do a follow-up review and our thoughts next with a special trip out for a nice sweet treat to remind us of our trip coming up now. All right, we are at Hangry Ohana out in Parker, Colorado. We thought this would be a great place to do our follow-up review and final video for the Hawaii vacation while eating Dole Whips. Jasmine, what do you think over there?
It is so good.
Does it make you think of Hawaii and Disney?
Yes.
So Hangry Ohana Hawaiian barbecue with a Texas twist. Number one thing we're here for is the Dole Whip, so wanted to come out and just take a look at the restaurant real quick, and then we're going to do some of our final thoughts on the Hawaii adventure. It is now the beginning of August, actually the middle of August, and we've got our final videos posted. Now it's our final review, so we're gonna sit down. I don't know if we're gonna do it in here because it's kind of loud. They got music on, so we might go to the park. We're gonna give our final thoughts on what we thought of Hawaii, our journey, and our adventure. How you doing over there, Jack?
Good.
How do you like the Dole Whip?
That says an answer.
Yeah, it's all gone, huh? Awesome. We have walked out of Hangry Ohana. It was really good. The Dole Whip was really good. It's got a lot of seating for, it looks kind of small, but a lot of seating. We have eaten actual meal here before, but today it was just about the Dole Whip. It's so fun, just all the different little pieces of Hawaii that are here. Again, we're out in Parker, so it's a quick review of Hangry Ohana. They do have a food truck out parked by the road, so they must do, I know they do catering, but not sure if they do pop-up events at the park and stuff too. So again, just a Dole Whip. Really enjoyed it. Good Dole Whip. Now we're gonna go over to local park and just do a quick follow-up and finish of our Hawaii vacation. We have found a filming location. We drove around for what seemed to be 20 miles and ended up a little closer to home because every park we went to, there was some kind of festival going on a Saturday. So what we did is I had the kids write down on some cue cards their 3 favorite things about Aulani, a Disney resort and spa, and one thing they didn't like. So I'm gonna ask them what they wrote down. I'm gonna start with Jack. So your number one thing was, bless you. Your number one thing was the beach.
Uh-huh.
What did you like about the beach?
Sand, more sand, and water.
Was there anything special about the beach that you liked? Maybe the fact that there wasn't any waves?
Well, the one thing I liked about the beach was the big waves that kept crashing onto the rocks in the distance.
So Aulani does have the natural barrier, and you had to go out. I never went out that far. You went all the way out?
Yeah, I snorkeled with Garrett.
Yeah, our niece and nephew, Garrett and Jocelyn, are competition swimmers, so they're really strong swimmers, and they went all the way out, but it was quite a ways out there. So having that barrier made very little waves. It made for a very nice, calm swimming. Snorkeling was affected. There wasn't very many fish because of the natural barrier, but I liked it.
but it wasn't too deep over there because it's like a wide beach, so it was still close by the shore on that side, but pretty deep out from where we were. So.
Jasmine, anything to add about the beach?
I really enjoyed just sitting on the beach and listening to like the waves hit the sand. I don't know why, but I really enjoy listening to that, so that was fun for me.
And that leads into Jasmine's number one, which she listed as sunsets and sunrises, and I'm assuming from the beach.
Yes, getting to see those sunrises and sunsets were so beautiful, like nothing we get to see here in Colorado, so I really enjoyed that.
We do have some beautiful sunsets here in Colorado going over the Rocky Mountains, and sometimes the orange hues of the sunsets, but those sunrises, like if you go back and watch our day 2 video of us up at 5 a.m. watching the sunrise and taking pictures out in the lagoon. Some beautiful, beautiful areas there. And I guess I'll go with my number one then, because it ties into all that too, is our drive to North Shore. So that was on day 5 of our trip, driving up to North Shore and going to Sunset Beach and Turtle Beach.
Sunset was one of my favorites.
Sunset was a beautiful beach. I think the problem with North Shore, and at least for us, is nothing was really, there wasn't big street signs with arrows saying here's what you're looking for. So you definitely need to have a plan and have it mapped out. Even with I'll say Turtle Beach, we parked on the east side of the parking area and ended up having to walk down a hill and across the tide pools and the wet rock, where if we would have parked further on the west side, there was a natural walk and it was all beach and really easy, and there was even some stairs with railing. So we just parked on the wrong side of the parking section for that. But Sunset Beach, Turtle Beach, that whole North Shore area was just beautiful. I say North Shore, and I know we were still 5 miles from actual North Shore, but that was definitely one of the highlights for me. It was just that drive up. We've heard that the traffic can get bad, and we did see that on the way back, as there was a backup behind 2 people on mopeds. But other than that, I really liked North Shore. So we'll go to Jordan, and Jordan, your number one was the food, and I had you break that down. So you actually went with the luau food. And one of the things that happened that I don't remember if I caught in the luau video, which would have been day 4 part 3, we ordered you an adult meal, because I think you were adult prices. You're right at that age. And at one point we looked down and you weren't eating, or you were like nibbling at it and making faces. And so we asked the server if we can get you a kids meal, and he said no problem, and they ended up bringing you
chicken nuggets, mac and cheese. I think it was a marshmallow with some fruits. Didn't really go with marshmallow though. And then there was some barbecue chicken, I think it was.
Yeah, I think they had the pulled chicken in there. Again, I think that was day 4 part 3 in the video. So you got the same meal that Jack would have got then. I think the fruit and marshmallow was traditional fruit salad, I think. And then Jack, you had dinner, and you wrote luau dinner, so you had the same thing. Was it the chicken strips, was it the mac and cheese, or was it the luau that you just enjoyed?
The luau and chicken.
You like the, now was it the classic Disney chicken strips?
Yeah.
The crunchy ones? Okay. And was it full strips or bite nuggets?
It was full strips.
It was full strips.
With 2 or 3.
Okay. And you know, I mentioned this in the luau video. It is all you care to eat. They would fill up and give you more. Now, Jasmine, you had the problem that you were still hungry, but you felt rushed and didn't want to order anything else, right?
Because everybody had already were on their dinner boxes and all the food were pretty much taken away, so I did not really feel interested in getting another piece of my dinner. Yeah,
and you know, so we've talked about it a little bit too, that the way they seat, you know, they didn't have pre-assigned seating from what I could tell, and it was based on when you got in line. So of course the preferred seating sat first, and then we were in the general seating, and even in the general seating there was 10 to 15 families in front of us, including people with our party, which I'll get back to in a second. And so the earlier you sat, obviously the earlier you got your dining service. So, you know, you were able to get more items that way. And, you know, it's different right now with the bento box type service, and, you know, that may change in the future, may not, who knows. You know, all you care to eat was kind of nice, but I think even at the end of that meal, I went back to the room and ate a couple of our snacks that were in the room. So we'll go ahead and we'll go with, so Jordan, you had a positive and a negative, so we'll go with both of these. So your positive was the pool, but we'd also talked that your negative was the pool because of the crowds.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about the pool. You actually got to do the slides, which unfortunately the GoPro failed, and I had given them the camera for an hour and a half, and they came back and went, it didn't work, and handed me the camera with no video. So what was your opinion of the slides? Which ones did you do, and what do you think?
I don't remember what ones I did, but they were really fun. They were kind of long. I'd say about 30 to a minute long, I guess. But they were really fun, and I like slides, so it was very fun for me.
So there was the dark slide, which was just a body slide.
Oh yeah.
And then there was the open slide where you were on a tube, right?
Yeah, with a different person.
Okay, so that was 2 slides?
Yeah.
And that was it, right?
Yeah,
just those two slides. So, go.
Alright, well, my favorite slide was the dark one because you didn't know when it was going to turn. So it's like the excitement of it. It's like riding a new roller coaster for the first time. You don't know what you're expecting. But the tube one was also fun because you had to ride it with someone else.
So let's go back to Great Wolf Lodge, Colorado Springs, and the dark water slide. You didn't like that one.
That's because it was not naturally dark.
And my glasses flung off.
And it was a little more intense than normal ones we're used to, since it was like there was like the funnel part or whatever it's called, where you like spin in a circle and then you like go and and to the whole. It was fun, but like it was. Sorry, the bee went past and I kind of lost it.
We're outside at the park. We've had bees, we've had flies, we've had bugs. Hey, we're in the environment. We're at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
I know I had said it, I mentioned it in the day 6 video, that there was always a line for the slides. And granted, what, I think the longest you guys waited was 10 minutes, maybe 15.
Yeah.
You know, so the line did go pretty fast, but me as an adult, I just wasn't interested in waiting for the slide. I had so much fun in the Lazy River. The Lazy River was just awesome. I think we timed it at 12 minutes.
Yeah.
It was about 12 minutes to do a full turn. I did do, you know, a quick video or a 60-second short of the full lap around the Lazy River. It was so much fun, and you know, a lot of people point out the Manahoonies and point out all the different stuff that's on the Lazy River, but for me, the best thing was just being in the Lazy River.
It was very relaxing and nice. There were a lot of like shady spots, so that was also nice.
Well, and then I think the best parts, and probably one of my, you know, tops on here, you know, I think I did right, my number 3 was family time.
Yes.
And there was times when we're in the Lazy River and we had 8 tubes tied together or hammed together. We were all holding on to the handles of everyone else's tube, and we were just kind of, I'm sure we were blocking a lot of people, but it was fun just being there all together and laying there. Jack, you got to be in a shared tube a lot with me and Mommy.
And also me.
And our friends that went with us and our cousins.
Yep, so I mean, it was nice. The double tubes were kind of fun. I know Jen and I were in a double tube a lot. And it was just fun. You know, we got some fun videos of the fountains that went off randomly.
Yes,
and
loved to throw other people in it.
They were pushing me into the fountain a lot. And I could see that it could be annoying at times, or maybe it would be a little cold, but we enjoyed it. It was a good way to cool off without having to get out of the tube and, you know, jump back fully in the water. But man, we would go 3 or 4 laps, and we spent a lot of time, and I know we probably posted a lot more video of the lazy river than maybe we should have at times, but really enjoyed that. So the negative part of it, because, you know, not everything was positive. We did have some negative moments. Jordan, your negative was the crowds. Now, the crowds at the pool, the crowds at the elevator, the crowd, you know, what do you mean by the crowds?
Well, the elevator wasn't really a problem, but it was mainly in the, like, the pools. One was the slides, but 2, and the lazy river, like, if we try to get by someone, like, as my dad said, like, everyone was grabbing on to someone, like someone else's too. So, like, it was kind of hard to get past them.
There was some bottlenecks. You know, there was definitely some bottleneck areas of the lazy river. Everyone was very polite, and we never had, you know, anybody be rude about passing. You couldn't hear people yelling on the left, you know. So there was, it was a very slow moving lazy river, and I think everyone was just having a good time. But there was sometimes that there was a wait to get tubes for the lazy river. You know, especially right around closing time, that 4 o'clock, 4:45 hour, that there was just a lot of people trying to get those last minute laps on the lazy river. And I know I marked it on one of the videos that it was like a limbo. They put a bar across the exit that you couldn't go past them once it closed. So that was kind of funny with the lazy river. Crowds, you know, talk about like chairs. We never had a problem getting a chair, but then we also, even with our party of 20, what were we at, 21?
21 or 22.
You know, we didn't take 22 chairs. We took 4 chairs, maybe 5, 6 chairs at most, and just all shared. You know, we needed a place to put our stuff, and there was typically at least one person sitting there. You know, one day I was asleep. You know, but with our group there was typically enough. But that goes into another negative that I had. I said it a lot on the trip. I tried not to video it a lot because I didn't want to be negative at the time. But now reflecting, one of the biggest negatives was the times we couldn't be with our party. We had a large party. We had 6 families. We had like 22 people, but we had 6 families. And we were talking, there was one family we never had a meal with. You know, we'd go in, we had our reservation for 22 people, and then they'd put us at 5 different tables, which were on kind of opposite ends of the restaurant, or the luau. You know, we were kind of in a straight line separated by people. So we had 4 tables at the luau. Yeah, we had 4 tables at the luau. One was really close to the front section. Then another party was right behind them, separated by a party and them, and then another party and us. So we were like 5 or 6 deep at the luau. So the only way we were able to experience it together was by walking up to their tables and saying hi.
Oh, there's a bee on the camera.
Okay, we have a bee joining us. Guest speaker. Buzz.
Welcome to B-Tunes.
B-Tunes, all right. So, you know, that was a negative. Is here we are at Aulani Disney Resort and Spa. Major reason why you want to go there is these family vacations and group trips with your friends, and we just didn't get that when it came to the dining locations. So that was definitely something that it took me a while to get over, and I don't know if actually I ever got over it. I was very bothered by it at a couple different places. I know Makahiki for the character breakfast, and I think it's because the age of the kids, because the kids were then running back and forth to the tables to talk to the friends in the other family, and I didn't want to be that family where our kids are running across the restaurant, which could have been alleviated if our tables were close to each other. So, I mean, that was my opinion. It did come up on one of you guys' cards. How did you guys feel? Did you feel that there was times we couldn't be with our parties? Or?
Yes, I kind of felt like if we were like, oh, we need to go tell this person something, we had to go across the higher like restaurant, and then we would always try and be like, oh, I want to sit with this person at dinner, but they need to be over at this place, and this person I don't sit next to. But yeah, so it was a lot of just like, if we were at one table, it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, since one of my best friends came on the trip with us, with her family, we basically, since we were far away from each other, sometimes text, or we would just, since we have like our own language kinda, we would just look at each other and we would like have like a whole conversation by doing that.
We were able, I mean, we could wave at each other, you know, whether it was one side of the restaurant or the other, we could wave at each other, and that kind of became a joke after a while. And yeah, there was a lot of texting going on back and forth. All right, so we'll go back and we'll talk about comparing it to the cruise line, and the fact that we've done these big trips, we've done group trips, very large parties. Cruise line is very accommodating, and we would do a table of just the adults where we had 8 adults or 10 adults at a table, and then a table just of kids. And by the time we're done ordering, we turn around and the kids are already eating their meals. So complete different styles. They'd finish their meal and then head off to the kids club. Here we are at, say, Makihiki dinner at 6 different tables, I think it was, or 5 different tables. And it was the prefixed menu, and everyone's trying to find something they like. We've got Jasmine trying to eat a steak that she has never had that cut of meat before. It was the ribeye, right?
Yes.
And you know, we're also in the dark, so she's using her phone as a flashlight.
Yes.
To you know, try to eat her steak. So just different things. You know, we try to consciously not compare stuff to our other experiences, but when the cruise line takes care of you the way they do, it's hard to not compare. So, but that was definitely one of the tough things. You know, is it different in different times? You know, we are visiting in, you know, 2021.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's stuff going in the world right now that changes a lot of situations. Positive, we're going back.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, even with some of the stuff that happened and some of the negatives, we're going back. You know, we said in one of the videos, not a yearly thing.
No.
You know, I don't know if it's because of the distance of the flight, or, you know, we had an amazing time, but every second or third year, you know, definitely something we want to do again. There's a lot of experiences that we didn't experience, stuff that we might do a little differently next time. You know, we've talked about maybe staying at a hotel on the North Shore, doing 2 or 3 days on just North Shore and Turtle Beach and Sunset Beach, the Dole Plantation, just doing that stuff for a couple days. And then when we get to Aulani, just doing Aulani. One of the things, I won't say it's a disappointment, but one of the things we missed, we didn't do the snorkeling reef.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You know, we had all these big aspirations of doing a, you know, entire resort stay pass, and we were going to go multiple times a day, and we just didn't. And you guys never even asked to go.
No.
I noticed it, but like we were always busy, so we
Yeah.
like never had time.
Yeah, and it didn't really seem like a huge thing at the time that we wanted to do.
Yeah, like a must do.
Yeah, I mean, we walked by it multiple times. We saw the viewing window. We saw people doing it. But we never went to the feedings. We never saw the feeding stuff. And it was just not something that even the kids were going, oh, we need to do this. We were having so much fun doing everything else. So again, not a negative, but just something like, same with the water slides for me, that it was just, I was having fun doing everything else. So let's go over the notes. Did we miss it? Jordan, you had one more, the characters.
Oh yeah.
So what did you like specifically about the characters?
Like most of the time, you can't see Stitch or Angel in the parks.
Oh yes,
So,
those are
and like
wonderful.
Ulu, like the special time characters that are like only at the resorts. That was nice.
Very fun seeing the characters on vacation, I think is what they were calling it. And Duffy and his friends, Ulu Mel and Shelly May.
Yeah.
Did somebody see Shelly May? I don't remember if we missed Shelly May.
No, we did
Shelly.
see Shelly.
Okay, we saw Shelly May, and we did see Stitch and Angel. You know, Angel, I don't believe has ever appeared in any of the U.S. parks. I think she may have appeared at some of the international parks, but don't recall her ever being at Disneyland or Disney World. Duffy used to be at Epcot, very briefly, so I know we've met Duffy before, but it was cool to see, you know, Duffy and his friends.
And personally, for me, getting to see Duffy and Angel was a lot of fun because those two are one of my favorite characters, and getting to see them was really cool because that's not usually something you get to do.
So let's talk about the character meal at Makahiki Breakfast. So you'll read online, you'll see some YouTubers, you'll see some things said that, you know, it's not the same, the characters aren't walking around. You know, Goofy and Pluto were behind the counter making breakfast. Did you feel like you guys got to interact with them?
Not really. I feel like it was kind of like a rushed experience, and some people in our party were not even able to take photos with him because, one, they were trying to get him to their table, or two, because they weren't wearing a proper face covering, they were not able to be in the photos. And that's not really Aulani's fault. That was not usually something that you would get at a normal character breakfast.
Yep, one of our party was wearing a neck gaiter, so the full cover neck gaiter, which aren't allowed, and so the photographer wouldn't allow him to be in the picture. Good, bad, indifferent. It is what it is for the time, but it did feel like the experience was a little rushed. The adults were a little different, so this was kind of one of the weirder things. Is we walked in, kind of adults walked in, and then the kids walked in. We tried to sit properly, spread out a little bit with the kids and the adults, but then we ended up fixing it at the tables and going back and moving people around again, which did cause some confusion because one of our party has a nut allergy, so they were trying to find the person in the party with nut allergy, and he changed tables like 3 times. My experience with the characters, I enjoyed it, but then again, as if you've watched our videos, you know I'm very vocal, so I was laughing and joking and teasing Goofy and Pluto. I could see where a child would just go up and try to take a picture. I was trying to get the interaction of the character experience. So definitely different opinions there, but that's what we want to offer you, you know, with our channel, Colorado Family Travels, is we don't want to give you just my perspective as an adult. I love having the family here to give their opinion on how their experiences were. So what do we get? You know, Jack, this is one that confused me. You wrote bed. Now, where did you sleep?
On a bed.
Really? Did not.
You were in one of the queen beds? Where were you?
Was he in the TV bed?
You were in the TV? Were you in the TV bed?
No.
No, I was with Grandma.
Yes.
So you were in...
he slept with me.
Okay.
So in our 2-bedroom, Jordan and our grandma slept in one bed, and then Jackson and me slept in the other bed that was in the 2-bedroom.
So it was the 2-bedroom, those are queen beds, and you just thought it was comfortable, you slept good.
He's like
A
all
bit
the
of yes
above.
and no.
A little bit of yes and no. Okay. All right, I'm looking back. I guess the last one is on my list, and I will say that my number 2 on my list of 3 was having a rental car. So right now it's hard to get a rental car. Rental cars are expensive. We lucked out and got a rental car for a fairly good deal. We had a car for the entire trip. We had a 7-passenger van, and the reason I say having a rental car was the ease of getting in and out to the different places, North Shore, Pearl Harbor, the swap meet, but then driving to the grocery store, saving a little bit of money on the food. One of the biggest things was, I'm a soda drinker. Bad habit of mine, but I drink soda, and it was $4.50 for a bottle of soda. I drove to Target and got a 6-pack of the same bottle for I think $5. So 50 cents more, and I got 6 of them versus 1. So having the car, being able to drive to the different places, yes, you can Uber. They were very prevalent there was taxis, there was ways to get around. You could do an excursion which picks you up at Aulani and takes you to Pearl Harbor, but we were able to do some stuff by having a car that definitely made a difference. So my personal opinion is rental car, and whether it's for the entire trip or at least a day or two, it's nice to have that ability to get around. I'll do a final negative. Having a car, sometimes our keys didn't work in the parking garage.
Yes.
I think ours worked most of the time, but our friend, her key rarely worked. And so she would get stuck in the garage until something finally let her out. So that was kind of interesting. And then something we run into at Disney World, our keys in the room sometimes didn't work. You know, we try to use our magic bands and keys and everything else, and there'd be times that one of us would work, another one wouldn't, and we run into that same explanation every time. Oh, you have too many keys connected to your account. Humble brag, yes, we get to go to Disney World a lot, and yeah, we have a lot of connected bands, especially as they were giving them away or they were free with each reservation. But there's got to be a way to figure that out. We'd go to the room and just couldn't get in. And it's not just an Aulani thing. Jennifer is lucky enough to not be with us right now. She's not on camera. She's at Disney World right now. So hopefully we'll be doing a future video of her trip. She's on a reunion trip with her college program roommates. So she just called me and said they couldn't get into the room with their magic bands, and got, I think, the same answer of, oh, you have too many bands on your account. So that was definitely a negative. But let's end with positive. Let's go, you know, overall, we know we're going back. We know we want to go back. Let's say, what's the one thing you do? We get to the resort. What are you doing first when you get back?
Going to the pool.
Yeah, going to the pool.
Going to the beach? 2 pools and a beach. I will definitely take the lazy river. Definitely what I would do. The pools are just amazing. So, you know, is that a note to make sure that you have your swim stuff in your day bag? You know, they talk about that on the cruise line, that you want to make sure you have the stuff you need when you get there. If you're waiting for your bags to be delivered to the room, or you don't have a room yet and you want to check your bags, you know, if you've got that early flight in and you're getting there during the day, bring your swimsuit with you, because you're going to want to get in that pool. It's definitely what we want to do. So after what ends up being 9 videos or 10 videos for Colorado family travels, for a great time with the family. But I think we'll go ahead and end this giant series. Thank you for watching the entire series. If you watched, thanks for watching bits and pieces. Comment down below. Let us know what you enjoyed, what you didn't like. We've got more trips coming. We've got so much stuff going on. We've got 2 more trips. We got a surprise trip coming up at the end of October. No, end of September. Got a surprise trip coming up at the end of September that's been really popular on our channel so far, so we're thinking you guys are gonna like this one coming up. So we'll go ahead and leave it off with that. And now for us, it's back to the rat race. Have a great day, everybody.